Hey, what's up, Next Level crew? Welcome back to another episode of What's Your Next, the podcast where we help you navigate the world of franchising and business ownership. So today we're going to be talking about a new type of franchise ownership, although it's not really new. It's got a new marketing jingle to it called the investor model.
Welcome to What's Your Next. This is the go-to podcast for aspiring business owners who want to get to the next level, escape the rat race, and give their middle finger to the corporate 9-to-5. If you want financial freedom, work-life balance, and the business of your dreams, you're in the right place. Dave and Stacy Riska, husband-wife franchising duo, openly share their successes, failures, and lessons learned in franchising, business ownership, and working with your spouse.
The investor model is something that can really be appealing to those who want to be involved in franchising, but may have a very lucrative other career and just looking for some type of additional source of income where they don't have to be so much hands-on. So I'm joined today by my lovely wife, Stacy, franchise expert matchmaker. And so, Stacy, why is the investor model becoming so much more popular nowadays?
Yeah, this is a new emerging model that has recently come out over the past few years. And the reason it's becoming more popular is, as you mentioned, Dave, a lot of people understand and want the benefits of franchise ownership, but they don't want the headaches of the day-to-day operations. So the idea behind the investor model is you get the benefits of franchise ownership, and you get the profits and the growth that come along with it, but you're having the franchise and or a management team that they run and operate the day-to-day. So you get the benefits, and then the franchise is kind of your partner, but they're running the day-to-day of it.
All right. That is pretty much what I would expect when you call it the investor model. So it's almost like franchising is evolving, today to meet the needs of the new investor. Do you think the pandemic played a big role in this?
Yeah, because, you follow investing very closely. And so you can spend every hour of every day looking at the stock market, looking at Bitcoin, looking at crypto, and we all know these investments are volatile. Or you could look at the investor model of franchising, which can have some lucrative returns, but you don't have to be so involved day to day in monitoring it. It's one investment. It's your business. You own it and you get the benefits of it, but you are just having the franchise, who actually is the expert in it anyways, running the day to day for you.
Okay. So it seems like this model, the investor model, could really appeal to a broad range of people. Mm-hmm. But what should someone consider before jumping into this as a type of investment?
Yeah, it's not for everybody, for sure. Usually you want to be somebody who might be a high net worth individual, because it's usually more expensive. It's a higher investment to get involved, because you're going to be paying a management fee to the franchise because they are running the day-to-day operations. So you need to factor that in. But it's really good for a busy professional who wants the benefits of business ownership. We work with a lot of candidates who are in the process of thinking about retirement as their next. Like, what is my next going to be? I'm not ready to sit on the couch eating bonbons. So somebody who might be thinking about this as a retirement strategy, right? Because they'll still own the business, and it doesn't mean you're not involved, because that is the biggest pitfall. People who think, oh, I just give over some money, it's an investment, and I don't have to do anything. That is not the case.
Turn over the keys to the car, right? And hopefully get your car back. So let's talk about some real world examples here. Can you share a story of someone or some people who have successfully used the investor model?
Yeah. So there was a candidate that we worked with who was very invested into real estate, had different real estate businesses. And as you know, if you've been following the real estate market recently, it's, especially for rentals and those types of properties, it's not doing so well, right? And so he was looking to diversify and was intrigued by the investor model of franchising. So he was able to invest into one of our home service concepts, kind of snap it on to what he's already doing. And so he loves the model because he's still able to focus on his real estate business, but now he has an additional nice passive income flow, and he's actually running these both businesses simultaneously. A real win-win.
Right. So that's really cool and really neat fit, right, between a current business owner and an additional stream of income where he is allowing it to run, but probably having very limited involvement in it other than maybe some management decisions around particular things. So that's how I would see that. So let's dive a little further into this type of franchise a little bit. How does the return on investment compare between the investor model and the traditional models of franchise ownership?
Yeah. So there's definitely things to consider. And even in the investor model, you're still going to get that document called the FDD, the franchise disclosure document. So you're going to want to dive deep into that and understand your numbers, both from the investment side and the return on investment. What I would say from my experience is that I would expect the ROI to be a little bit slower in the ramp up, because you are investing that money more in the management team that's going to be building and growing it. And so your ROI, it just might take a little bit longer to pay off, but usually it's a nicer stream and you get there faster because you are having the franchise who already knows how to run and market it and grow it. You can get there a lot faster.
Right. I'd like, talk about scale a little bit.
Yeah.
When you look at this as an opportunity, one of the things that is appealing, just looking at it from an outsider's point of view, is that if you're in the investor model, then the business isn't so much reliant on you, and it isn't really so much tied to you directly. So it's really its own entity, and it's operating as part of the brand that you've acquired when you acquired the franchise. So what I can see is that, first off, this lends itself to something we talked about in our previous episode. And if you haven't watched that, which is exit strategies, it's a great episode. Go back and watch it. And if you like our content that we've been giving, don't forget to like and subscribe. We really want to hear from you and continue to give you great content, but we need thumbs up. We need you to like and subscribe. So what I was getting at is that the scalability of an investor model may be, number one, greater, obviously, because you can grow at a faster clip if you don't have to hire and do all the things you would normally do to run a business and for multiple entities, all on your own, right? Because you're leveraging the management of the franchise itself, and the saleability of that later on is something that's a little bit unique in that it's not so much tied directly to you. The customers aren't so much directly tied to you personally. It's not personally branded. I'm going to the XYZ store because Dave is running it and he's a great guy, right? It's part of this brand. It's part of the brand of whatever you're acquiring, and it's just one unit of that. They like your products, they like your service, and so therefore the revenue and everything is not directly, has a direct link in any way so much to the owner of the business, which it could be in other franchise type of models.
Here's another benefit that we haven't talked about, which usually when you're looking at a franchise, you're looking in a territory or an area usually where you live or around where you live. In the investor model, you can have your business anywhere. So you are not tied in to a specific area. So when you meet with the franchisor to discuss an investor opportunity, they already know the hot markets. They know where that specific franchise has the best opportunity. It doesn't have to be in your backyard. I think that's a huge benefit of an investor model. And usually the people who go into it have more of an empire builder mentality. They're not looking to have just one area or one unit. They usually buy a state or a county or a whole area, because that is the point of being an investor model. It's more than just having one.
Right. Great point, Stacy. Obviously, having access to territories outside the territories in your local area could be a huge benefit, particularly in some franchises where those territories just simply aren't available. Right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So are there any specific financial metrics or KPIs that an investor should focus on when evaluating these kind of opportunities?
Well, smart financial people know that you want to look at the numbers. You want to look at EBITDA, right? What are you going to, I laugh at our saying, right, Dave? Gross is for vanity.
Net is for sanity.
Thank you. Gross is for vanity, net is for sanity. So know the numbers. What is the EBITDA? When are you going to see that ROI? So you know that it might take a little bit longer, but what's the payback period? Is it 1 year, 3 year, 5 year? So really dive deep into those numbers. Look at the revenue growth. How fast, how much faster can you grow and scale in the investor model versus just being a one-off owner operator? And then also understand what those management fees are, what percentage you're going to be paying in to have the franchise run it for you, and how that impacts your bottom line.
Okay, great. That's absolutely correct. And so we've covered a lot regarding this topic, but for someone who's on the fence, what final questions should they ask themselves before deciding if the investor model is right for them?
Well, certainly reach out to us. We have a whole 9-step system that we guide you through. First, getting clarity on your why, helping you determine if the investor model even makes sense, guiding you through the process of matching you to ones that might make sense, introducing you to the franchise, doing your due diligence, and making it to the end of that road. So reach out to us. We want to serve and support you. But also look at the franchise itself. Look at what's happening in that industry, in that category. Is it growing? There are some industries that are doing very well. Home services, pet, senior care. Is there an investor model opportunity in there where you can tie into a growing trend? And then also, part of your decision needs to involve the franchisor. You really need to be comfortable with them and their management team, because they're going to be the ones running this for you on a day-to-day. So more so than you just buying one franchise and being owner-operator, and yeah, you like the leadership team and you know they'll train and support you, it's a little bit different. You want to ask some tougher questions because the franchise is running this for you. And so you want to ask the tough questions like, what are they going to do when and if things go bad? What are they going to do to hire the best people? What are they going to do to maximize your sales, your profits, your ROI?
Yeah, great. I was waiting for you to get to those.
I know. You have the investor mentality.
Super important if I were an investor in an investor franchise like that. So we've covered a ton today. If you got questions, please put them in the chat. We'd love your comments. If you are a franchise investor and you have some comments on this topic, we'd love to hear from you. And we thank you for joining us on today's episode of What's Your Next. We'll catch you on the next episode.